Saving your first $1,000 feels like a real turning point until you start wondering, okay, now what? Because now comes the part that no one really explains. How do you turn that cushion into a real emergency fund? How do you know how much you actually need? And how do you grow it without feeling like your whole life revolves around saving money? If you're new here, welcome. I'm in my 40s building financial independence after I paid off a lot of debt and figuring out what worked for me. This channel is for late starters who want clarity, steady progress, and a realistic path to financial independence, and who want to build it along someone who's actually doing it. In the last video, we talked about how to save your first $1,000 financial independence cushion. In this video, I'll show you how to grow your emergency fund from here, what changes, what doesn't, and why saving that first $1,000 did more of the heavy lifting than you probably may think. And if you missed the last video, it's linked below. Stick around. Early on, I went through a layoff without an emergency fund. Years later, I went through another layoff, but this time I was ready. And the difference wasn't just financial. It completely changed how my days felt, how I made decisions, and how much panic I had in my life. That contrast shapes on how I think of emergency funds now. The problem is, once people save their first $1,000, they go in one of two directions. Some try to rush straight through into a full emergency fund, saving aggressively, cutting every corner, and end up burning themselves out before they even get there. Some, they're not really even sure what a real emergency fund looks like. So the $1,000 just sits there. Both paths feel equally frustrating. The truth is, if you've already saved your first $1,000, you've already done the hardest part, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. The risk now isn't that you won't save enough. It's that you either push too hard or you never build momentum at all. Let's think of your savings in phases. Phase 1 was your financial independence cushion, the $1,000. That stopped every small issue from becoming a crisis. And phase 2 is growing that cushion into a real emergency fund, one that can support you through a job loss, a health issue, or some major disruption without your life falling apart. The foundation doesn't change. The purpose expands. You've already done the hardest part. You've proved that you can create space. Now, we're just widening it. Up until now, your $1,000 has been a financial independence cushion, something to keep you from sliding backwards. The next step is letting it grow into a true emergency fund. An emergency fund isn't about everyday surprises. It's about income disruption, job losses, hours cut, a stretch where money starts to slow down. So why does this matter? You stop treating savings like something that needs to be finished quickly and start treating it like protection, building it layer by layer. You don't need a complicated formula here. Start with your core expenses, the bills that keep your life running: housing, utilities, food, transportation, necessities. And then you multiply that number by 3 for your starter emergency fund. 6 if you want more breathing room. And if you have variable income, I'd start with 6. Variable income just means that your income fluctuates month to month. That's if you're in sales or you have some kind of personal business that you don't have steady income, paycheck to paycheck like somebody with a W-2. Now that's your eventual target. I'm not saying that's something you need to do by tomorrow. The point isn't to feel pressure. The point is to give your savings a direction. Why this matters: without a target, savings feels endless. With one, progress becomes visible, even when it's slow. This is where burnout usually happens. People try to jump straight in from $1,000 to fully funded. Instead, think of it in layers. You go from your first $1,000, then you move up into $1,500, then $2,000. And then you can start to say it in forms of month. I've got 1 month saved, 2 months saved. Each layer makes your life steadier. Each one reduces stress you didn't even realize you had. You're not failing if it takes time. You're succeeding every time you add yourself another layer. Why this matters? Your nervous system starts to calm down, and calm is what makes people consistent. You don't need to think about this every day. Remember the small amounts we set up in the previous video? The same systems that protected that $1,000 are the same systems that are going to help your emergency fund grow. We're not pushing harder, You're letting time and consistency do what willpower just can't. Why this matters? Emergency funds are built on systems, not motivation. Think about all the people that join a gym at the first of the year. Majority of them stop showing up by the end of the month. It's not because they lack willpower, it's because their motivation fades. If they have a system in place, the odds are they'll show up week by week. The same goes for this system. You have it set on autopilot and you don't have to think about it anymore. Your willpower, no longer needed. It's a system set in place. So let's pull this all together. Today we talked about how an emergency fund isn't about rushing or restriction. It's about understanding what this money is meant to do for your life. We walked through how a real emergency fund is built around your expenses, not a generic rule. To know roughly how much enough looks like based on your expenses, grows in layers instead of all at once, and relies on systems, so progress doesn't depend on constant effort. That's what turns savings from something exhausting into something sustainable. I've lived both sides of this. I've been caught off guard without an emergency fund, and I've been laid off with one. And the biggest difference wasn't the money. It was how calm my days felt, how I slept at night, how clearly I could think, and how much weight every decision carried. The fund does not make life perfect, but it sure as hell makes it a lot more easier to handle. And at this stage, that's the shift. You're not trying to prove you can save anymore. You've already done that. Now you're building protection that grows with you and what you've already built to keep working for you. If this video was helpful, please consider like and sharing, as that really does help the channel grow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.